Hey guys, it's Jessie with Omaha Mom Talks, and I have some exciting news. I am partnering with Edwards Auto Group, a local car dealership with locations in Nebraska and Iowa, for a fun partnership called Mom versus Machine. Every couple of weeks, I'm going to be test driving a new family vehicle and giving it the full mom review. We're taking it out of the showroom and into the hands of me and my family of 4. We're going to be seeing if it can handle car seats, snacks, strollers, backpacks, how easy it is to clean, how much room do we have, and I'll be giving you my honest thoughts. If you have a car that you have been eyeing, let me know. If you have any must-have amenities when looking for a car, share them with me, and I'll be sure to give those a closer look. Follow along and see which car can actually keep up with our family chaos. Welcome back to Omaha Mom Talks, the podcast where we talk about all things motherhood, mental health, and the systems that are supporting and not supporting families. I'm your host, Jessie Gutierrez. I'm a mom, wife, and mental health therapist in Omaha. If you are pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant, or maybe you're just supporting somebody who is, or if you've ever looked back on your birth experience and thought to yourself, like, that just didn't feel right, this episode is for you. Birth isn't just a medical event. It's also a nervous system event. It's relational, it's emotional, and for many families, it is shaped by the access to information and support that they receive. I'm so excited for you guys to meet today's guest. Her name is Samantha Wall. She is a birth advocate and the founder of local nonprofit, the Omaha Better Birth Project. We're going to talk about birth as a human experience, what support can actually look like, and the benefits of having support through your birth experience, and how inequity shows up. I'm so excited for you guys to learn more about Sam, the work that she does in our community, and the Omaha Better Birth Project. Let's get into it. All right, I am joined today by Samantha Wall. Welcome to Omaha Mom Talks.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have one-on-one time with you.
I know, right? Usually when we get together, there's a bunch of us.
Yes. So I'll first just share with everybody, Samantha and I know each other because I sit on the board of the nonprofit that she started, Omaha Better Birth Project. So when we chat, it's usually a group of us and we have a mission, we have a focus. So I'm glad to talk with you more in depth today.
Thank you so much.
So before we chat about birth advocacy and birth support, let's just get to know you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I mean, how far back do you want to go? Originally, I'm from Central Iowa, but I've been in Omaha now for almost 20 years. When I reflected back on that, I went, wow. 20 years. So Omaha's my home. Probably going to stay here forever.
Yeah.
So,
why did you move to Omaha?
For a boy.
Oh, no longer in your life? Okay. Well, we're grateful.
It all worked out though.
Yeah.
It really did. It really did. So I've got a little family, my wonderful husband, Steve, and then 2 kiddos. I've got 2 girls, Lydia and Madeline. They are 11 and 9, almost 12 next week. So a preteen in the house, which is something of its own. But I am a pretty avid reader. I read about 100 books a year.
That's insane. How do you find time?
Audiobooks.
Okay.
Audiobooks is the answer.
Do you listen to them in the car?
Yes.
Okay.
And my commute to work is about 30 minutes. So that's a good amount of reading you can get done.
Yeah. Okay. So share with us a little bit about your educational background and where you work.
Yeah. So I kind of had a roundabout way of getting to where I am now. The original plan was to be a vet. I wanted to be a veterinarian. So my undergrad is in biology, and I worked in cellular biology lab for some time doing fun stuff over there. But it was after the birth of my first child. My life changed, as it does for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I quickly learned that my passion and what I believe to be my mission and what I'm driven to do is in maternal health. And so I went on and got my master's in public health and hopefully someday soon, the doctor of public health is on the table.
Okay, it
So we'll
is.
see.
Okay, that's
We'll see.
awesome. Yeah. And so we're going to share more about the Omaha Better Birth Project, but share a little bit about like a brief intro
Mhm.
into the
Yeah, so
Omaha
we're
Better.
a nonprofit and we help people get access to what we consider essential services to help them have a safe, informed, empowered birth experience, things that not everybody has access to.
Mhm.
So we have a doula grant program and childbirth education, and then wraparound support for families who have needs outside of medical care. So if they need help connecting for housing or food or utilities, things like that.
Mhm.
We provide some referrals and support for that.
Great. Yes, I love it. So that is not what you do full time. Well, you
No.
do it full time, but in addition to that, you do have a full time job as well. Do you
I
want to share
do,
about that too?
sure. I work for Creighton University in the Institute for Population Health, and I wear several different hats, but kind of the buckets that I have is working on evaluation projects. So we have partners, whether they're community-based organizations or health systems, anybody that has a population health program that they want help, either helping with the implementation of that program or evaluating it
Yeah.
to see its impact and where things can be improved, what's going really well. We have researchers on our team who are specialized in that type of research, and I support those efforts as well as some health policy things. So we are growing that wing in the institute, but all things health policy. We're doing some student trainings, some trainings for legislators,
That's
and
awesome.
really helping to advance the knowledge around health policy and how health policy impacts the everyday person
Yeah.
and their health and social needs. So, and then I do operational things. Internally, the institute is still pretty new. It's
Okay.
only about 3 years old, so we're still building things, and I help with that aspect too.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Just as a side note, so my background is in social work and clinical
Mhm.
social work, and I talk with a lot of social workers who want to get more into public health. Do you have
Mhm.
any advice for those who maybe have like a social work background?
Yeah, I work with social workers. So my direct report, direct supervisor is a social worker by background. It is a very natural fit to go into the public health sphere. I wouldn't say you necessarily need to go get your master's or
Okay,
anything like that. I
good to know.
think that the education and experience that social work innately has lends itself very well to stepping into the public health world.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's just good for folks to hear
Mhm.
because I'll hear people say, but I don't feel like I have the experience.
Oh, you do. You've
Yeah,
got such great experience and knowledge to bring to the table.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I want to chat with you just a little bit about your entry into motherhood and your first
Yeah.
pregnancy and birth experience. Share with us a little bit about that.
Yes. So my first birth was, when I reflect back on it, the experience is a bit of a blur.
Yeah.
It was not a great experience. Pregnancy was wonderful. Everybody that I was surrounded by was so excited and sharing in the joy, which was great. That was incredible. But when I reflect back on it, as I've grown through the years, there was some gaps in my care, in my knowledge, that kind of led to a not so great circumstance. Nothing major. No trigger warnings here, I don't think. But we ended up, an induction, which led to a cesarean,
Mhm.
which led to its own sort of.
An induction and then an unplanned
Correct.
C-section. Okay.
Yes. And I it was a blur. My whole birth experience, it's kind of like in and out of what I remember. A
Yeah.
lot of things happened. A lot of choices were made that I don't think I was informed to make choices on. And the cesarean delivery, I actually fell asleep while my baby was being born. And because I was so exhausted, it had been 47 hours at that point. Anyway, but because of that experience, it led me here. It really changed the trajectory of my life and what I went on to do.
Yeah. Well, and I work a lot with people who had birth trauma or unexpected birth experiences, or even just regrets. Like sometimes we're not even talking about trauma, or they don't use that word. And so I hear so many of the same themes from my patients that you're sharing, of like feeling uncertain, feeling powerless, unhelpless, and unsupported.
Yeah, you almost feel, or you almost experience grief of the loss of something that could have been.
Yeah. The delivery experience you had hoped for or planned for.
Or even just expected.
Yeah, or just your frame of reference that you expected. Yeah, yeah. And so what was that timeline like for you in working through your own birth experience and saying, like, I want to use my experience to do more for others?
Yeah, so it was a late night, probably 3 a.m. doom scrolling on Facebook. Everyone used Facebook back then. And came across, somebody had mentioned an organization that supports families who've experienced a cesarean, or they're facing a cesarean, or they want a VBAC. And at first I was like, what the heck is a VBAC? I didn't even know that. I thought once a C-section, always a C-section, that type of thing. So I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole, and I was like, a lot of what people are saying is describing exactly the experience that I had, and I found out that organization had a local group that had meetings in person, and I dove right in and stepped into that meeting, and having that community around me, something clicked. I don't know what it was. It was all of a sudden I'm going, this is what I needed. I needed this throughout my pregnancy to help prepare me for delivery. And so I went to many, many, many meetings, and met some incredible people along the way. That's how I met Emily, who was my associate director at Omaha Better Birth. And we talked about all things birth. People shared their stories. People shared their worries and questions. And it was just a community experience that I'd never had before.
Is this a group or organization still around?
It is. Yeah. I can name it. Yeah. It's the International Cesarean Awareness Network.
Okay.
So they do have an Omaha chapter and chapters across the nation, and several in other countries. So definitely check them out if you're interested in that type of support. But I went on to be chapter leader for that group, and then eventually on the national board of directors for that organization. And then it kind of led me here. I would meet with moms over and over and over. People, they just want to know, how can I make my next birth better? How can I prevent what happened to me before from happening again?
Yeah.
And
what were some of the like themes that you noticed that through talking with those women, of like what was missing?
I think a lot of it is information.
Yeah.
So they didn't know they had options. They didn't know they had choices. And that's something that I think we should dive into is what is informed consent? How do we let people know that they have options and what those options mean? Because when you can go into an experience, and it doesn't matter if it's birth or any experience, the more information you have about your options, the more likely you are to look back on your choices and feel good about them. You knew as much information as you could possibly know to make the best choice in that situation, for you, for your family. So it was a lot about, what didn't I know before that I need to know next time?
Yeah. And just having that knowledge and feeling like I'm a part of this experience. It's not happening to me and against my will, but I'm a active participant?
So I went into my first birth actually with that mindset of, oh, I just go to the hospital and they tell me how to have a baby. No, you are an active participant in this. You need to be an active participant. And for the most part, I can't speak for everybody in the world, but for the most part, you're going to have a better experience if you are highly engaged in the decisions that are being made.
Yeah.
And one of the ways we mention a lot through this organization that you can set yourself up to have the best experience possible, regardless of the actual birth outcome, but as you reflect back on your experience, you reflect more positively, is having a doula. And so many moms would say to me, I can't afford that. I just can't pay for that. There's no way. And so that sat on my heart for quite some time. And I thought somebody should do something about that. Why is this not, they're evidence-based, they are research, they show to improve outcomes. Why is this not a standard of care and accessible to everybody? And that's how Omaha Better Birth came to be.
Yeah. So tell us, when was Omaha Better Birth Project founded?
It was founded in 2020. Don't really recommend starting during a pandemic, but we did it. We persevered. And it has grown tremendously since that time. I really thought we would just give a handful of grants to families to help them pay for a birth doula every year. And now we're doing 150 plus grants a year, and then variety of other services for families. It's been an incredible experience, and it really highlights the need and the want for this in our community.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's, I know we mentioned a little bit, but let's break it down further. What are the core programs that Omaha Better Birth offers, and who does it serve?
Yeah, so we have 3 main programs. I guess you could call it 4. We have a grants program, which families can apply to get funding to help pay for a birth doula or a postpartum doula.
Can you?
Or both.
Both? Okay.
Yeah. Many families do choose to get both. So we have that program that pays to help pay for doula access. And then we have a childbirth education course, which provides evidence-based childbirth education in English and in Spanish. So language access is going to be a big focus of ours going forward. And one of the, as I was talking about information, everyone needs this knowledge. They need this stuff, but they need it in the language that they speak.
Right.
And so we're really going to be focusing on that going forward. So childbirth education. And then we have our support branch of our programs that provides that wraparound care. We get a lot of emergency assistance requests. So families who are like, I don't have any money to buy diapers or formula or whatever it happens to be. And we can typically honor those requests as they come through. And then more in-depth case management for families with really complex situations that need somebody to walk them through accessing these resources that are in our community. And who we serve.
Yeah. I was going to get there too, so I'll bring it back.
Most of our programs are accessible to low-income and teen families. We use the WIC income guidelines as our eligibility for income. However, childbirth education is accessible to anybody in the community. We don't have any income requirements on that. And then same with the support program. So any family that's facing any of those hardships can reach out to us and we'll support them.
Okay. And so let's bring it to the doula, the grant program. What do you call it? Just the doula program?
Doula grant program.
Doula grant program. Okay. Yep. I should know this. Tell us, I guess, for those that are listening that are unaware of what a doula is and what that support could look like and the benefits of it. Can you share with us a little bit?
The list is long, but good. So doulas, I guess the technical definition is that they provide physical, emotional, and informational support before, during, and after birth. But practically, what does that mean, right? So practically, in pregnancy, they will typically meet with you in your home or another, like a coffee shop or something like that. You'll start to build this relationship with them and you really get to know each other. The doula gets to know your birth preferences and wants and needs, but they're there as this amazing resource. They answer your questions when you are doom scrolling at 3 in the morning, and you're going, oh, you just have this burning anxiety inducing question. You're like, what does this mean? Or anything like that. You can reach out to your doula. If it's a medical question, they'll get you to the person who can answer it. If it's something in their wheelhouse, they'll help you with it. They're really there to make sure that you have all the information and support that you need to prepare for your birth and postpartum experience. Then during birth, they are actually there with you. So many doulas will meet you at your home when labor starts and support you physically, always answering questions. That piece is always there. And then go with you to the hospital. Some doulas just go to the hospital part of the birth, which is fine. It's something you should be aware of when you hire your doula. But they'll actually be with you during the entire labor and delivery process. They're there to help ground you and make you feel comfortable, whether that's physically or emotionally. They're amazing supports for partners and support people. I have yet to hear a partner tell me, oh, we didn't need
that lady. We needed her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they're with you the entire time. And then postpartum, the list of things they can provide postpartum is very long. A lot of moms seek some breastfeeding information from them when they're newly postpartum. They can help with baby care. They can help with mom care. If mom needs to go take a nap or take a shower or whatever it is. Overnight care. They can, do light housework, and really it's whatever the family needs at that moment. But again, answering those questions along the way and providing that information.
Yeah. So, for those that might be interested in a doula and specifically looking for you guys, first I just want to name, Omaha Better Birth Project doesn't house the doulas, so to speak. So tell us kind of a little bit about how you match or help support that.
So every family can choose any doula that they want. They just have to be certified, which says that they've gone through a minimum level of training that identifies some core pieces that we think is really important. So anyway, they can choose any doula within the community that they want. And then we get a contract signed between the doula and the family. And once that's signed, we initiate the payments. We handle all the payments on the back end. The family is not burdened by anything with that. We do have partner doulas. So like you mentioned, we don't actually hire any of these doulas directly. We contract them. So we do have a whole list of amazing doulas who have partnered with us. And essentially what that means is they have agreed to provide their services to our grant families for no more cost than what our grant can provide.
Okay.
So if a family selects one of them, it's guaranteed they don't need to pay anything extra. It's 100% covered. If a family chooses a doula that's not partnered with us, there is a chance that there might be an additional cost to it. We've not experienced that yet, actually, though. Every doula that's worked with us has just accepted the payment that we offer. So that's been really amazing to see in the community too. So the family has the choice of what doula they want to hire, which we think is very important.
Yeah. And if someone is looking to hire a doula, do you have any tips or ideas on how to get started or what to look for?
Oh man,
I know that's a long conversation, but just briefly.
Great. There's 1,000 lists out there. Just Google what to ask a doula, which is a wonderful place to start. I would say probably the most important thing to know is understand the doula's policies. So every doula typically has their own they set their own boundaries and offerings for their clients.
Yeah.
Basically, that's so that they can continue to sustain their business. Being a doula is very, very difficult. You're on call almost all the time. You're at very long births. And so the doulas set these parameters so that they can sustain and serve more families. So just be aware of that. Be aware of if they have a certain number of prenatal visits they do or postpartum visits. How long will they be with you in labor? Typically, most doulas will stay with you the entire period, but there are some doulas that say, 18 hours is my maximum, or I only come when you're so many centimeters, or something like that. And it's just important to be aware of those things so you can make an informed decision on whether that's a good fit for your family. One of the key things to ask about is backup doulas.
Okay.
So if something happens and the doula wouldn't be able to make it to your birth, do they have someone that's their backup? I think is an important thing for families to know.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that. That's a great question. And I know that your doula grant program has certain timeframes of when people can apply. When is the next one opening, or do you know?
Oh my goodness. Yes. So they go really fast. Fortunately, because families can get them really, really quickly, but it just means that we're not able to meet the full need of the community most of the time. And so right now the grants are currently closed because we have reached capacity, but there will be a new round of funding starting in June. Where families can apply. Fingers crossed, if we get additional dollars before then, we would be able to open it up earlier. But for right now, it's set for June.
Okay, great.
And they have to be for birth. Oh, don't quote me on this. It's on our website. You have to be between a certain weeks in your pregnancy to apply. And that's to give you enough time to find a doula.
Yeah.
That process can take a few weeks to get done. And so we want to make sure you have enough time to meet with your doula before birth and really build that relationship.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think that one thing that I see so often in working with pregnant moms is a lot of women have a postpartum or a birth plan, excuse me. And so I just think it's important to mention this isn't about having like a perfect birth experience.
Right.
It's about having a informed,
empowered. Yes, it's not, a doula can't make everything perfect. That's not what they're there to do. They're there to help you, to help guide you through the experience so you can come out of it. Now they do have positive impacts on physical health, and we can talk about that if we need to. But what I think is I don't know if it's most important, but very important, is that people who have a doula for their birth experience reflect back on it in a positive way, typically. And that is huge. I mean, so many of us walk around holding this heavy, heavy thing about their experience. And doulas can help prevent that. I mentioned the physical things, so they do reduce the risk of C-section. That lowers the amount of time in labor. It lowers the risk of preterm birth and low birth weight, and lowers the risk of perinatal mood disorders and all sorts of things. So they can very much have an effect on physical and mental health too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and what you were saying about so many people walk around, that's just it, and what I see so often, which is, after this, oftentimes a very traumatic birth experience, then it's quick into, oh, but your baby's healthy.
Yes.
Aren't you so glad?
Always. That's always the response. And it's well meant.
Yeah.
It's not ever meant in a sort of malicious way or anything, but that's typically not what mom needs to hear.
Yeah. It feels very dismissive.
It's very dismissive. They need to be validated in their experience. And
it's a whiplash of going through this scary medical
but just be happy about it.
And then not only am I being told to be happy about it and be grateful, and I am, but I'm also rattled. Just like if I was in a car accident, in horrific car accident, I would be rattled.
And happy that everything turned out
physically
okay.
And then care for this new human that is brand brand new to the world, and I'm
Yes.
learning that baby and they're learning me.
Absolutely.
And so moms really are forced to keep going, right? Like
hold it in and focus on all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Just ignore that other feeling that you have.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that internal conflict and just trying to shrug it off, it's not about how strong you are,
Mm-hmm.
right? We all have, well, we're all human, and we all have a capacity and tolerance for stress and hard moments. And the number one thing that helps all of us, children included, have resilience through hard moments is support.
Yes. That goes back to my talk about community, and your doula can be part of your community. It's so important to be surrounded by people that are going to validate you, that are going to, they don't even need to necessarily understand what you're feeling, but be there to hold space and let you process. Is really important. That was absolutely key for me.
And so many people that I see in my practice, sometimes they don't even come to me because of their birth experience. It's because they're depressed or they have anxiety and these other symptoms. And then once they have the moment to sit down and hold some space and reflect, that's when the awareness happens of, oh my gosh, I never gave important attention and attunement to that hard thing that I went through.
It takes a concerted effort, in my experience, and hearing from others their experience, to you have to put in the work to process and address what you went through. It doesn't mean that you can label it traumatic, not traumatic, whatever you want to label it. You need to take the time and effort to process all that comes with it. There can be guilt, there can be shame, there can be a whole host of emotions that follow. And
Absolutely.
For me, I held it in for a long time. But once I found that community and that space where I was safe and comfortable to express it, and they all went, you did go through that, and it's really impactful.
That support and that validation and just holding the mother, right? I was thinking in my head, do you think that if you were to prioritize a doula in before or after?
Oh,
I know people are going to hate this question.
Oh, no,
The doulas are going to hate me.
Don't make me answer that.
Okay, well, I don't, I think they're all important, but like as a maternal mental health therapist, we always talk about mothering the mother, and that can happen at any time. But we also know that the postpartum period is so freaking isolating.
Yes.
And so I just think of like, I even get chills thinking about what my own postpartum experiences could have looked like had I had a steady support person that was dedicated to me and my physical health.
In other
and my
countries, they have that as standard of care. And I hope, I wish, I dream someday we can get to that point. I will say, unfortunately, much of the driving of access to doulas is going to be driven by money. It's going to be driven by the payers, the people and organizations and companies.
Which, like, we also know that birth outcomes that are unplanned for and cause harm to mom or baby, whether that be physically or emotionally, cost our society more.
Yes, absolutely. And they have those downstream effects. And so at this point in time in our culture and society, that's what's driving the changes that are going to happen. So I do anticipate that birth doulas will be at some point covered by insurance and Medicaid.
Are there some in Nebraska? Or pilot?
There's pilots.
Okay.
Yeah, there's pilots, which is promising, that they are interested and eager to look at how this might improve outcomes for their members. But I do think it'll be birth that comes first, and then postpartum. And I guess you could do both at the same time, and I would advocate for that. But I don't think that's the way it's going to play out.
Yeah. Yeah. One being seeming more of like a healthcare medical
Yes.
event versus the other, although we know that mental health is health.
Right. That could be a whole podcast in itself.
Yes. Yes. Well, tell me a little bit about just through because there are people that are listening who still aren't going to have access to a doula, right? And so what is some guidance that you can give those folks, or what do you wish those people knew as they enter into
I was in that position. I didn't have access.
Yeah.
And it can be really frustrating to know that it's there, but it's just out of your reach. I went through that. And I would say, one, make sure you really do your research on what programs are available out there that you may not be aware of, because there are programs, there are pilots, there are organizations like us. There's other, I'll call them out, A Mother's Love, Ivy Black Girl. There are other organizations within the Omaha community that help families access this care.
Yes.
As well as, like we said, pilots with Medicaid plans and insurance plans. So check with them. Check with your provider. So there are pilots happening within health system clinics.
Oh, okay.
And so check with your provider as well. If you still can't find anything, my best advice is to arm yourself with information. All those questions that you would have asked a doula, ask your family, ask your friends, ask anybody that you can ask to gather all of that knowledge.
Yeah.
And I would say also partners and support people do the same. Arm yourself with the information, not only the information about options and choices in your pregnancy and birth, but really for partners and support people, understand the needs and wishes of the pregnant person is going to be absolutely beneficial to them in the experience. So you can not necessarily advocate for them, but simple things like, oh, wait a minute, didn't you say you wanted to do this one time?
Yeah.
Did you think about that?
Yeah.
Just little reminders.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's giving me a flashback to, I was really, I did not want any like students in my birth experience, my first birth, and I did not want any male doctors if I could prefer. I wanted a female team. And a male physician had to come in. I can't even remember exactly what it was, to like check me or something. And my husband like stood in between, and he's like kind of a like trust the professionals kind of guy. But because I had like made it so known, you know, and he was like, "Are you okay with this?" And I was like, "Yes, like let's get things, you know, rolling or whatever." But it felt so good to like have that support. And so if your partner can be as involved as you in what your wishes or preferences are, knowing that there are often medical decisions that are made that aren't according to our preferences or our plan for safety of you and baby, but just to advocate or check through or make sense of it. Like, okay, you're saying this has to happen, and we
another set of
just
ears.
want to know why.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And not being afraid to ask those questions for sure. And then like, I guess, do you have any websites or resources that you feel are credible for getting that information? Just because there's all sorts of information out there.
It's the internet.
Yes. And so I don't know if you have any like...
The one that comes to mind that I think is excellent is evidence-based birth.
Yeah, EBB. I was going to say that one too.
Evidence-based birth is a fantastic resource. There is... I'll have to get you a list later, but there are definitely credible, reliable sources that really take the approach of, one, centering the pregnant person in the decision, and two, they have the expertise and the research and the knowledge to back up what they're saying to you.
Yeah. And evidence-based birth has a website, an
podcast,
Instagram, and a podcast, and it's free information.
Yes,
that
so
is
good.
evidence-based.
We have some doulas that are certified through evidence-based birth too,
awesome.
and maybe a childbirth educator now. So there are resources in the community. The other thing I was going to mention about accessing doulas, if you can't afford, is a lot of doulas do offer payment plans, and or sort of sliding scale fees based on income. So don't be afraid to ask. Ask them if
their
they
options
can,
maybe
if they
for
have
payment.
options for that.
Yeah, it's always good to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the childbirth education classes that Omaha Better Birth Project offers, are there any coming up, or where can we find out more about those?
Our hope is that that's starting in the spring again, and they are typically monthly, but they will be 1 month in English and the next month in Spanish. It's just a 1-day course, so it's not multiple weeks you have to come back. So be on the lookout for information when that registration opens up for the class.
Perfect. Yes. And I love that it's like 1 day.
I know.
Because sometimes
the burden, the childcare, the time,
and getting your partner to go to a multiple day event.
Absolutely.
So yes, I love that it is just 1 day. Okay. Well, I know we covered a lot. Were there other things on your mind today that we didn't get a chance to that are important to adding to this conversation? I know you'll walk away like,
oh, I should have said this.
Yeah.
I think I want to highlight our mission at Omaha Better Birth Project is around equity, equity and access to services that everybody should be able to get. And I just want to highlight that inequities are, while we focus on financial access in most of our programs, there are a number of factors that in our society influence people's access to things, including race, ethnicity, age, language, all sorts of things that unfortunately in our society and by the nature of people with their own biases influence the care that people get. And so it's a very what's the word? Intersectional need. There's a lot of things happening, a lot of context to why we see the issues that we see in birth.
Right.
And we shouldn't discount these inequities that are happening due to factors.
And that is just like research. That's not our opinion. Like
absolutely.
The research shows us
there are
significant
clear patterns in
inequities
the care that specifically Black and Indigenous women experience versus the care of others.
Yes.
And you're right, it is research based, and there's no getting around it. That's what's happening. And so there are organizations like A Mother's Love and I Be Black Girl that focus on that disparity specifically. We focus on income disparities. But there's a variety of organizations that are working in this sphere, kind of addressing it from different angles. And so I just wanted to highlight that's a really important aspect to the work that we do.
Yeah, very important to name out loud. With we also forgot to mention the really cool like baby shower event that you do. So that's such like a joyful.
It is so wonderful.
I loved being there. So tell us a little bit about that event.
So we do an annual baby shower. It's technically open to anybody, but typically we are serving families that are in need of essential supplies, community resources, education, and we bring together 50 different families. They come from all walks of life, and we just have a joyful day with its resources. So we bring in organizations and companies and insurance plans and everybody that's got the information that they need to share about that. We also have amazing educators that come in and provide education on different topics. So Jessie, you did mental health, maternal mental health was a topic one time. And then probably the most exciting part is that everybody goes home with a host of supplies.
And we're not just talking the basics, like a couple wipes. Like people are leaving with pack and plays, car seats, like insane. I felt like you were like Oprah. Like you get a car seat, you get a car seat. I was like almost in tears, and I don't even know these women, and I'm watching them. Is just so cool to see.
Because but how impactful is that for somebody who can't afford these items to be set up with a baby gate, with, you know, a stroller, these things that are essential but cost so much money.
So much money.
And so I'm honored to be able to do this for the community every year. It's a really exciting thing. If anyone wants to volunteer for it, let me know. It'll be on our socials and everything. We do it in the summertime. It'll probably be towards the end of the summer this year. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, for those who do want to volunteer with your organization, where can they, or those that are just interested in learning more, where can they find you guys?
Volunteer opportunities are pretty limited. So we're a pretty hands-off kind of behind the scenes organization. So we just do a lot of payments on behalf of families. But the baby shower is a wonderful place to do some hands-on volunteering. But if you want to learn more, our website is omahapetterbirth.org, and we're on Facebook, Instagram, every now and then TikTok.
Okay.
So definitely check that out.
I love it. And just when you think about the future of birth support in our city of Omaha, what comes to mind and what keeps you hopeful?
Oh, what keeps me hopeful? The amazing work that other organizations are doing, the heated focus that is on maternal health right now, not only here in our community, but across the state, across the country, is really meaningful to me. It's the fact that it's becoming a priority. Maternal health care really speaks the way that we treat pregnant individuals, postpartum individuals, really speaks to our values as a country and as a community, whatever level you want, it speaks to our value of that and how we prioritize it. And the fact that so many people are eager to improve things gives me hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Sam, I just really want to thank you, not just for being here, but for the work that you do. Every time I meet with our board of directors, like I feel empowered, and it feels like so amazing to be among like so many badass women that are really just all wanting to support birth people. So thank you. Thanks for letting me be a part of it.
Of course. Well, thank you. We have an incredible group of really passionate, eager folks. And I could not be more proud of the group that we've brought together that has just naturally formed. And I'm excited for the work that we'll do moving forward.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again. And for those that are listening, if this episode resonated with you, I encourage you to share it with somebody who's either pregnant, thinking about getting pregnant, or just loves pregnant people. You don't have to do this alone, and you weren't meant to. You deserve good support and information. Thank you guys so much for listening to Omaha Mom Talks, and we'll see you next time. Bye.